It's time for the Film Crickets with Jay Fortier, Chris Martineau, and Melanie Howerton. On this week's episode, our good friend Steve Scarpetti from 94HJY returns to the show, and Jay, Chris, Melanie, and Steve review the 1994 American spy action comedy film, True Lies. Does it stand the test of time? Let's find out. Your Film Crickets are on now.
All right. Hey, friends, and welcome to the Film Crickets. It's a podcast where we talk about movies from 1980 to 1999 and decide beyond a shadow of a doubt whether or not these movies stand the test of time. I'm your co-host, Jay Fortier, along with my good friend and co-host, Chris Martineau.
Hello, Jason. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon. Good evening,
Hi.
my friend.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes.
And also my good friend and co-host, Melanie Howerton.
Hello, how you doing?
Doing well. So, Chris, you feeling a little better?
Yeah, I just had another, I figured COVID wasn't done with me for a little bit, so it was, felt like I got hit over the head with a bag of shit, but I'm okay now. It kind of felt like the flu, but it wasn't quite as bad, so I basically slept for...
Did you not get the cough?
Didn't get the cough. It was just like aches and fever and regular, just general garbage.
Yeah, that's good.
Felt absolutely miserable. So that was good. So I'm on the mend again. So whatever variant, my 4 inoculations, whatever variant, kind of passed through me. So
yeah.
Of course I'm behind at school now. That's okay. But how's everybody else doing? Steve, how are you doing? How are you feeling, Steve?
I'm good, thank you very much. I'm glad to hear that you're doing good. And thanks for
good.
having me back again, guys. I guess last time wasn't bad. Thank you.
So I'm sorry, I got the ball rolling, Jay. I'll just go with it.
Okay,
Steve,
that's cool, man.
Steve Scarpetti from 94HJY over in Rhode Island, coming around for a second turn. We really appreciate it. We're seeing into your man cave a little bit more. The depths of your nerddom is complete. I do see a full-on Ghostbusters uniform in the back, if I'm not mistaken.
That is true.
And
yes.
to what member of said Ghostbusters do you identify the most? Who's on the patch?
My favorite is Winston, because Winston's the common man. He's the guy that's kind of looking around going, this is all insanity, this is all nuts. And he was also the first figure that I got when I was a kid. So
that's cool.
Excellent.
My first love. But yeah, half my room is Ghostbuster stuff. The rest of it is a hodgepodge of music and other childhood goodies that my mom likes to refer to as a museum.
Sure. Do you know how much we in our youth have contributed to the deposition of plastic into landfills across the world? Like, it's amazing if you think about it.
That's what I'm doing. I'm saving all this plastic from the
very nice, very nice. All right.
More room for E.T. The Atari game.
Yeah, that's in Alamogordo. Anywho, so we're gonna get at it here. Steve chose True Lies, and typically at this point I would say, when was the last time you saw this movie? But we have to go full disclosure here, folks. It's not available for streaming. Steve,
and by the way, my apologies, everybody.
No, it's fine.
Like, why on earth would I assume that one of the largest movies, that came out of the 90s, a James Cameron film, would not be rentable, streamable anywhere?
Yep.
And apparently, Steve came up with a great reason, and there is a new series out, and they probably want to take put 100% spotlight on the series without having people go, well, screw the series, let's watch the one with Arnold. Right.
Well, based on the reviews I've heard so far for the TV series, I think that's exactly what it is. They're like, this does not live up to the movie, but it's CBS, and if you go to CBS, they of course have not met a dead property that they don't like, and it's right up there with Magnum PI.
I was just going to say that.
Everything else.
Magnum
I watched all of those.
Magnum PI. believable. I don't know that it was good.
Actually,
then.
it's not. It wasn't bad. But it was like a.
It was pretty good.
It was they took it in a different direction. It wasn't like some dude with a mustache. like they weren't trying to like make it the same exact.
And Higgins was a girl.
Higgins is a lady. So it's so.
So get that sweet helicopter though.
There's a little bit of love-hate thing that leads to like a love thing, you know what I mean, type of thing.
Just like regular relationships. Okay, sure. They still get that sweet copter though. I loved that copter when I was small. So anyway, hey guys, let's get into it. The clock is ticking here, so we want to talk about True Lies. So we know that we didn't see it recently, but when was the last time you saw it? And when it was available, did anybody own it on DVD? Was it in high rotation? What do you remember? Let's go Scarpetti first. So before
definitely owned it back in the day and watched it a lot. That was one of my favorites. I was like 15 when that came out. Okay. And I know I saw it in the theater and I saw it multiple times because I just thought it was a fun. You don't get this. Arnold was doing either comedy or action at that point. They didn't mingle too much together. Sure. And to see him in this movie where it's got a lot of funny moments in it. I mean, Tom Arnold. I think we can all probably agree that this is his best role that he's ever been in, right?
Yep.
Everything else, you're either like, I can't stand him in that, or he's not funny. But this, he's fantastic in it. And I remember going to see it and thinking, this was a great movie. I love it, All
right, cool. Melanie, what's your deal with True Lies? What's your history with the Lies of Truth?
I never owned it. My mom who owns everything doesn't own it. Obviously we couldn't watch it for this one. But I remembered it so well because, it was used to be on all the time. So you just always saw it. So I've seen it so many times. So I really didn't need to watch it for this anyway. I just kind of went over the plot again on the internet and, so I liked it. I've always, I remember it really, really well, but I never owned it.
All right, cool. All right, Jason, what's your history with True Lies?
I saw it on videotape back in the day, as far as my first showing. I ended up seeing it with somebody who was like really, really upset about like what Arnold was doing to Jamie Lee Curtis, like at the scene where like they're tricking her into dancing. Like she felt it was like a very sexist thing, like So when you're in I was dating her at the time, and when you're in that company, it's kind of hard to fully enjoy yourself because you're surrounded by someone who's fucking miserable about this movie. So you're like, wow, I guess it wasn't that good or something. You're kind of like it's hard to really get a good feel because you're so distracted by the person you're with that's miserable.
Yep.
So then I watched it again and enjoyed it a lot when I was not with her.
And much more of life, in fact. All right, so
right. No, but then I think it was one of the first DVDs I ever bought after I bought my first DVD player. Okay. I watched it actually like a couple weeks ago. I waited for it to come on like edited TV. Obviously not as good because you see the swears get all like bleeped out but. It made it a little less awkward dance scene with Jamie Lee Curtis when I was watching it with my daughter. So
that's helpful. It is a tad gratuitous, to be frank.
It's kind of long too. It's really long.
It's a bit much.
It's very 90s, don't you think?
Yes.
This movie's very 90s.
I was going to bring that up, Steve.
You're like, if you put me in a coma for 10 years and told me to guess when this movie was made just by one watch, I would guess the 90s easily.
Yeah. I was going to bring that up, and I'm glad you did. So we'll definitely touch base on that later. This movie, I don't think I ever owned it. I don't remember where I saw it first, if it was in the theater or not. I do know that it was a James Cameron film, and I was even back when I was in my younger days, I was always hip to directors. So I'm like, oh, this guy did Aliens, which was at the time my top 5 movies, and then Terminator 2, which I was a little disappointed by because Arnold was good, but. Yeah, I'm not gonna kill anybody. But no, it's a good movie.
Killjoy.
No. It's a good movie. I was a little shocked by that. That's all. And so I'm like, I'm gonna see True Lies, right? And I love Schwarzenegger at the time. And to Steve's point, I think it is obviously entertaining. We're gonna break it down a little bit, but it's entertaining in the same way that I think it's 2000 teens analogy or 20. Actually, I don't know when it came out. 2019, I think.
90,
it's got to be Hobbs and Shaw. Hobbs and Shaw is the cousin of this movie, with just straight up ridiculous action, giant muscle bound dudes, and jokes. I mean, honestly, that's what it is, right? Yeah. And you got someone acting like a buffoon, and someone trying to. It's just that, and I love Hobbs and Shaw. Hobbs and Shaw is top 10 for me. It's so entertaining, and this, I imagine at this point, like, this movie is the 90s, as Steve said, the 90s version, 100% of Hobbs and Shaw. All right, so let's do the breakdown, then we'll get into it. So True Lies comes out in 1994. It's rated R. It runs in at 2 hours and 21 minutes. Little long. That's okay. Fearless globe-trotting terrorist battling secret agent. Wow, it's a lot of adjectives. Has his life turned upside down when he discovers his wife might be having an affair with a used car salesman while terrorists smuggle nuclear warheads into the United States. For gravity, I'd like to say that one more time. Think about all the words I just said. A fearless globe-trotting terrorist battling secret agent has his life turned upside down when he discovers his wife might be having an affair with a used car salesman while terrorists smuggle nuclear warheads into the United States. That is a lot to pack in one sentence.
And that's a very confusing sentence.
Yes, it is.
It kind of, like, it's all over the fucking place. So I mean, it's
used
weird.
Car salesman and nuclear warhead are in the same sentence. I just want the record to show.
Yeah.
Directed by James Cameron, written by James Cameron, and Claude Zidi and Simon Michel and Didier Kaminka. It's actually based on a French novel, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jamie Lee Curtis, Tom Arnold, Bill Paxton, R.I.P., Tia Carrera, Art Malik, Alicia Dushku, Grant Heslov, and so on, and a bunch of others that we will remain nameless at this point. So, let's talk about True Lies. First of all, it opens. Is this the Newport Mansion? Is this the?
No, I think it's Salve Regina.
Oh, well,
no, it is Rosecliff.
Rosecliff.
Oh,
okay.
I thought it was Salve.
Well,
yeah, that's the thing. When this movie came out, that's kind of what. There was many different things that made my eyeballs go to this movie. It was Cameron, of course, and you know all his movies are big and bombastic. But then it was the local connection, which in Rhode Island and New England, we're always like, ooh, something's connected to us. Let's go check that out. And everyone was like, they filmed this in Newport. And I remember sitting in a theater going, oh, yeah, look, that's one of the mansions. Holy cow. And, you know, it's supposed to be like Switzerland or something.
Do you remember the TV show Providence?
Yes.
Yeah. What a dumb idea for a TV show. Like, how regional.
I think it stayed on because all of Rhode Island watched.
Yeah, that's it. Nobody else. Everybody else, where the fuck is Providence? Now, I'm kind of annoying. Go ahead, Jay.
No, I was going to say, there was a movie with Dana Delaney. It was a TV show with Dana Delaney set in Philadelphia. It was like called Body of Evidence or something like that. But it was filmed in Rhode Island because they go into someone's backyard and you see the Providence skyline in the back. Yeah, it's set in Philadelphia.
That's funny.
So people from Philly and Rhode Island go, what the hell is this?
We also lost our minds on Dumb and Dumber when they were coming up 146 going by the State House. And I'm also, and again, I'm just
going to... The Big Blue Bug.
Yeah, the Blue Bug came by. And I am so annoyed.
I saw that in the theater.
Yeah.
Sorry. I saw it in the theater. And the Big Blue Bug was on the thing. Everybody went, yay!
Yeah.
Like, it was just like, you know, like, because it's like it was a symbol.
Yeah.
You know?
And if you're listening from anywhere else, Google Big Blue Bug. That's what Rhode Island is known for. The Mafia and the Big Blue Bug. I'm also gonna say that now that and to Steve,
talk about selling us short.
Yeah, I know, right? And Steve, you know, you say you're mesmerized by, you know, this the mansions and whatnot. Like, again, I live near DC now. I am so annoying when movies or TV shows come up with DC. It's like, oh, that's 13th Street by I. Oh, that's like, oh, that's right in the FBI. I'm like, oh, God, I can't help it. I can't help it. So anyway, so Arnold. So question, right? So Arnold's living a double life, okay, and for obvious reasons. He has his wife and daughter who are legit, you know, but they're not in on the spy game, and he works for. And how 90s is this? How X-Files is this? It's a government agency that's more secret than the most secret government agency that works above every top secret things, above the CIA, above the FBI, above the NSA, right? So he is keeping his life a secret so to protect his family. That's kind of the deal, right? And because he's away so much, his wife is kind of frumpy, and wants some adventure. But guys, what does Arnold do? What's Arnold's cover story? Does anybody remember?
Yeah.
What is it?
Like
He's
a
a salesman.
computer programmer?
Salesman of what?
He's a salesman.
Of what?
I don't remember exactly.
Okay.
But what I thought was funny is that he's a spy pretending he's a salesman, and Bill Paxton is a car salesman pretending he's a spy.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, but my question is, when any of these movies is, whenever Arnold Schwarzenegger comes into a room and he's not an action star, like Arnold Schwarzenegger as a kindergarten teacher, Arnold Schwarzenegger as a doctor, Arnold Schwarzenegger as whatever, he's not playing somebody with a gun. Like, nobody bats an eye at about how giant this person is. Like, you never say, like, actually, what is this guy's workout routine? Like, this is not a normal person. Go ahead, Jay.
Right. In this one, yes. You're right.
Yeah.
And I think that's to sell the bigger idea of the but in Kindergarten Cop, I watched it actually a couple of weeks ago because we got on this Arnold kick with my daughter. We watched Terminator, and then we watched Kindergarten Cop, and then we watched this one I said on thing. Now, they do comment. One, he is a policeman, so that's not that strange for him to have a big body.
Yeah.
And they go, like, they show him coming to school like the next day, like after his first day, and it's like the kids are like, "See, that's our new teacher," and the parents are like, moms are like, "Oh my God, I don't want him to see me without makeup." Yeah. And then one of the kids goes, "Told you he was big." Yeah, so it is a big, like, it is like a stick out situation with on Kindergarten Cop.
But this is more like Chris said, because someone who's sitting in a cubicle a billion, hours a day.
When does he work out?
He's a salesperson who's going to conventions. Yeah, when does he have time to work out? He's always late getting home because he is doing something else, but she thinks he's a salesman. So he, in the movie, he doesn't go to the gym. He's too busy.
Mm-hmm. Right, of course.
Yeah.
Well, he's busy throwing guys around in the men's room.
Yeah, true. Yeah. So the poor guy, and we understand why he's doing what he's doing, but what's sad is that he's so, at the mansion scene when he's dancing with Tia Carrere trying to get information, he obviously can be debonair. He obviously can be slick if that's what he needs to be. And it's just a shame that he either doesn't want to or doesn't have the time to do that with the person that he loves. Is there any question that he obviously loves his wife, right?
Yeah.
No question.
Right. So it's not like he's, I don't think he would ever get into the point where he would have to be intimate with somebody just for the cover. I think he'd probably find a way out of it, so, for whatever reason. And I mean, that's what they do. They lie, right? So it's just interesting to me that it's kind of sad. Like, you feel bad for Jamie Lee Curtis the whole way through, because she's doing her best with what she's got, and it's almost like, I don't know, you understand the situation, but you don't blame her as well. And it's not exactly making the right choices to be, first of all, who gets wooed by Bill Paxton in this? Bill Paxton's great. But I mean, come on. Look at your husband and look at Bill Paxton.
I don't think it's that.
All right, tell me.
I think it's the excitement, because regardless of how giant Arnold Schwarzenegger is,
right,
she even mentions that if I need help falling asleep, I have him tell me about his day.
Jesus, that's true. He's incredibly boring. Yes.
Yeah. And then, she said it was good to feel needed and wanted, and she needed adventure, and she's just bored. You know what I mean? Like, so she just, the major thing is she thought it felt good to be needed.
Right. And
then Arnold's really devastated when he finds out that he's being cheated on. At least he thinks he's being cheated on,
Yeah.
Right.
Which Tom Arnold said, he says, "Welcome to the club, pal."
Yeah.
Yeah. He's all excited. Yep. You don't think it's going to happen to you?
Yeah, it's a rite of passage for all of us.
Or when she has his head on his lap in the helicopters, Tom Arnold goes, "Well, maybe she's sleepy."
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, and by the way, the person that says, what does he say? He goes,
in the copter?
Yeah, he said something like, "She's got his head on his lap, Yahoo," or something like that. That's James Cameron. He always tries to do that in movies, I've noticed. Like when he was in Terminator, he was like the hotel, like when she called the hotel desk guy, it was him that was on there. Like it's almost like instead of Alfred Hitchcock that like puts himself in movies, he tries to put his voice in movies.
Melanie, I'm surprised that you're telling me that James Cameron may or may not be an egomaniac. That's crazy. That's amazing. That's shocking to me.
But it was funny that was his voice instead of just like, I don't know, someone else. Like,
okay, so real quick, we're going to talk about Bill Paxton for a minute.
Yep.
I'm just gonna say.
Melanie applauded.
I'm gonna go. I know she's.
Steve, can you give me a quick kiss? Steve, give me a quick. Yay. Okay.
Golf clap.
Yeah.
Golf clap.
No, but listen, he was funny. He was everything that, like, you love to hate him, that type of thing.
He's so funny.
But I could really go the rest of my life and never hear another person say she had an ass like a 10-year-old boy.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that in this movie, don't you think? There's a lot of stuff where you're like, oh, that would not fly today.
But I know you. And by the way, James Cameron, I know you're trying to make him scummy. Mm-hmm. I think you could go about it another way.
Probably. Yeah, you could. No, that's yee.
Yeah. It's like, wow.
Yeah, we are. It's like,
who are you trying to appeal to?
We already don't like Bill Paxton. We don't need to go quite that far with it.
But honestly,
and by the way,
and I've said this before, I think this is my funniest role for him. Like, I just think he plays that part so good. Sure. I think it's like one of his best acting jobs ever. He's so just absolutely spot on with every single thing he says, the facial expressions he makes. He's just like this sleazy guy, and he's so hilarious when he's doing it. Like I said, when Arnold's like, okay, can you hold this car for me? I don't know if he says till next week or tomorrow. I can't remember. But like when he's like, because it's you. It's just everything he says is just so sleazy and perfect. Like I love him in that character. It's so funny.
He's so good. Think what's interesting as well is that the way that he thinks spies are. The way he kind of does all right, nobody look. Like, the shifty eye and the talking out of one side of the mouth and like kind of whispery. When like real spies, or at least the way that Arnold does his spy work, it's not quite. That's almost being obvious you're a spy. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't actually go, all right, so look, and like do a backhanded note or something like that. You're not gonna do like Steve never does that. He's a spy. Like he's cool, calm, and collected. That's what I'm saying. No one would ever guess with all your paraphernalia in your room that you're actually
just ducked down.
Part of.
Apparently, she's afraid.
Charlton Heston is actually in the closet
right there.
with the eye patch in Steve's house. Not all let people know that. Sorry.
And my computer was unplugged and it said it was going to die. So I.
Oh no, not that!
Was,
don't do that. So, so look, Jamie Lee, and here's the thing. So let's bring up the elephant in the room. What Jay was talking about before. So this movie's super entertaining. There's no doubt about it. Like I'm not going to say that it's not entertaining. And I don't want to tip my hand about the holding up bit, but it's curious to me that Jamie Lee Curtis, who is a very strong person, like if you've ever listened to her, she does not fuck around. Mm-hmm. She does not like sweat fools easily. If you've ever listened to her, particularly now, and we're not talking Jamie Lee in Halloween. We're talking like she's a grown, mature woman at this point, and it seems like she would never do something that she doesn't want to do on screen. But the seduction scene of her and Arnold. By the way, how do you not know that's your husband in the shot? I know that there's a voice altering thing. I know that. However, you've had a child with this man. You should know what he looks like in the shadows. I'm just saying. Like, we were saying it before, it's not that, like, you can put anything in your movie that you want, but did anybody else, and I think we brought it up, didn't it go on a little too long? It was very long. A bit much? Yeah. Or help me out here. Yeah.
I guess she actually really wanted to do that
Okay,
part.
Great. Like I said, I don't think Jamie Lee Curtis is going to do anything she doesn't want to do. I just don't get that vibe. She would just tell someone to go fuck off if she didn't want to do it, because I'm Jamie Lee Curtis. Come on. Like, look,
I read that there was supposed to be like a quick nude scene or something, and she didn't want to do that or something, but I don't think he was going to do it for a long period of time as that, or I don't know, something that wasn't supposed to be exactly like that. But she actually did that striptease dance for Cameron and convinced him to leave it in or to do it or something. I can't remember. Okay. And she worked really hard on her body, apparently, too, to get ready for it.
Oh, sure. But then has anybody, it's just, I don't know. like it kind of. I'm not going to be like Jay's date and say it ruined the rest of the movie. But even back in the day, younger me, probably a less progressive me, would be like. Even I was like, it's kind of going on a little long. I don't know.
It was for me too. It was too long. It's just, and when you're watching it with someone else, it just kind of feels embarrassing a little bit. Like it is too long.
And it's embarrassing, and therefore you like feel like you're embarrassed because she's getting used at that moment. I mean, not intimately used, but she's being used to be part of her husband's weird sub-spy game.
But she gets into it a lot, if you've noticed. At first she's nervous, and then she totally gets into it after that. And then he drops the recorder.
Right. Isn't it a bit...
And she has problems with the device she's trying to also plant, doesn't she? And that kind of turns into a little bit of hijinks.
She has it in her bra.
Yeah.
And it falls out when she does like a backwards bend, and then
livered up.
Then she like has to like recover. Right. And pick up and but I think it's funny though. She kind of does like a funky chicken dance.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, at first.
Yeah, you're
and
right.
And he goes slow.
Yeah,
like sexy. Like and then all of a sudden she finds that ear. It's like, wait a minute, what? How did you go from funky chicken?
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like to
to yeah. It was pretty funny.
It was weird though. It was weird. I just thought it was too long. Way
just
too long.
a bit much. So. I mean, when was Fish Called Wanda? Was that 2 years before that? Same.
I don't know. I know it was before because Cameron watched that and like wanted her because of that
because there's a similar scene in A Fish Called
Confession.
Wanda. What?
Confession.
Go ahead.
What?
I've never seen
Fish Called Wanda?
I did a long time.
Oh, it's funny. Yeah. It's really funny.
It's one of those movies like it never grabbed me from the trailer, so I was like,
Steve.
Kevin Kline,
right?
Fantastic.
We'll do it in the future. We'll make sure.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, it's probably not.
I want to do Aliens though. I want to do Aliens because I can't remember it.
Oh boy, that's Alien.
Yeah, I think I saw Aliens once. I liked it, but I just
seen
saw,
it more. Steve, we're Steve. You and I got to be the same on this. Have you seen Aliens more than 12 times?
Oh yeah,
like you just put it on.
Yeah, I mean, I love the Alien series, but Aliens is
put it on the background and listen to it.
I wanted to watch it the other day, but I was waiting for you.
Oh no, you just put it in the background. Let's listen to Machine Gun Fire and say we're screwed, man. We're fucked. We're doomed.
Every time I start Alien, and I mean the first one, it's really fucking slow.
It is slow. Yep.
I feel like I'm getting them both confused together. That's why I want to watch it again.
The two movies are so different. The first one's like a haunted house movie in space, and the second one is a full-on action flick.
Here, which one had the cyborg? Too?
What? Oh, they all have robots. They all have people that look like robots.
It was a guy. It was that guy.
No, they both have them.
It was that guy.
Yeah, the first one. Part one had the guy with the knife.
No, it was a magazine.
No,
didn't he like do a thing?
Oh, no, that's the second one.
Okay,
yes.
I remember that one a little more.
Boy, Steve, we can school them.
Just pieces here and there, so I want to watch it.
We almost saw it last night for
I was
this show.
going to watch it recently, and I was like, no, I'm going to wait till I know you guys want to do it. I'll wait.
All right. Back to True Lies.
Back to the other one.
So, but again, what I find endearing, and you guys, the most memorable moment for me is the truth serum moment. Is again, this movie is directed really well, even with the funky chicken dance, going to the sultry dance, like it's executed well. Whether or not I like the scene doesn't matter. It's executed well. And the next scene where we have the confession from Arnold under the truth serum is, I mean, the man, don't ask him to act a lot, but when you ask him to act, he can nail a scene. And we saw it in Conan the Barbarian. We saw it in a lot of stuff. And boy, they were all, when he says, yes, I killed them, but they're all bad. That the look on his face, like he's a teenager, a petulant teenager in trouble. You know what I mean? Like, I just loved it. Anybody else?
I thought of you, Chris, with that because all I could think of was Kindergarten Cop and other movies where he sounds the way he's sounding. I don't know. I just every time I thought of you 100% when he said it like that.
Well, that's Jingle All the Way, except he did it for the whole goddamn movie, and it drove me crazy.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
that's right.
Yeah.
So here we go. We're going to get the Superman. Okay. Yeah, but they were all bad. Yeah.
Hey, Chris, if you're ever in a coma, I'm gonna. If you're ever in a coma, I'm gonna pull up Jingle All the Way and just play it on.
It's a terrible movie. Terrible movie. Dads aren't good that want to do everything. I'm sorry. All right.
This will wake them up.
No Turbo Man.
Make it stop.
Yeah.
No.
So guys, we're smuggling nuclear weapons. So let's talk about the other sore point. In this, we forget about the fact that all of this is because we're trying to smuggle in the nuclear weapons. So what makes this movie so 90s? And you know what's not evident these days in action movies that have an other? There is no other anymore when you watch action films. Like back in the day, you could bank on Soviets, Libyans, and by the way, this is not casting aspersions on any race, creed, or ethnicity. I'm just talking about the movies here, right? You had Libyans, you had the Grenadians, you had Soviets, and basically anybody Middle Eastern, light brown skinned. That was the target, right? That was the people that were trying to get us. And we are in a pre-9/11 world. We have a terrorist organization called the Crimson Jihad. Boy, oh boy. I'm not saying it makes the movie better, but I'm saying you don't see that anymore. The enemy now, the last time we saw it was Iron Man, right? When he was selling the Jericho missiles to the people in the Middle East, obviously Middle Eastern.
Okay, yeah.
But after that, like all the other, again, Marvel's taken over. All the others are purple aliens, people out there, or even other heroes. Right? There's never some other target. I'm not saying it makes it better or worse. I'm just stating a fact. There is no other nation. Now, who knows, as movies are a reflection on what we worry about, what movies will... Red Dawn, for instance, right? Soviets invading. Yeah. So who knows what the history of America and the world will bring up for movies coming up. However, it's just interesting that you can't have an enemy like this anymore. Am I wrong? Okay.
No. And I want to say something about that because I guess there was rioting. Like everybody wanted, like there's so many people wanted this movie to be banned because they thought it was racist. But this was pre 9/11 as well. So I don't think that they would maybe not everybody would have felt the same after 9/11, but pre 9/11, a lot of people thought it was super racist. They wanted to be banned. And he was like, I never meant this to be racist at all. Like, just like, in Rocky when they were fighting the Russians, like it's not meant to be racist. It wasn't meant to be racist, but a lot of people had a big problem with it, I heard. Yeah.
In the casting too. I mean, you had the third guy of the team there. He's not even Middle Eastern, but they're making that you should consider him to be Middle Eastern. I think he's actually Jewish. And then even the bad guy, he is Pakistani, but he was a British-born actor. Like, if you ever heard him talk normally, he's got this beautiful British accent, and they put him in the movie, and he's being stereotypical.
And I guess they wanted to do a True Lies too, and I think Cameron said that's why he didn't do it. It was because after 9/11 happened, he didn't think that any of that would be funny anymore. He didn't think anything would be funny because terrorists are just not funny, and he didn't want to do it because of that. He didn't want to have any terrorists in it.
So
I read that there's a script that was actually out there, and there's a scene in it where it's a fight on a plane. And they said that was probably the biggest thing they had a problem with after 9/11. They're like, there's no way. Then they love the scene so much. They actually think that one thing is kind of what torpedoed a part two. Because there's no way they could ever do that scene.
No. For the record, I'm not saying movies were better in the 90s because of it. I'm just stating a fact that you just don't see that anymore. Yeah. It just doesn't. And maybe that's good, maybe that's bad. I'm just stating it. Those are just facts. However, the action against this other is very entertaining. So, I'm going to say. Anyway, Jason. Yeah.
Real quick. Who wouldn't like, to reveal like this deep secret of yourself that is so fucking awesome. Like, what I'm saying is, he's saying, no, leave the girl alone. Come on, guys, you know, and they're like, what is this? And he's pointing they're pointing to the missile. You know what this is? Fine. I'm going to hold a gun to her head and I'll kill her if you don't. And all of a sudden he's like, it's a Soviet, and he starts like listing the exact style. Like, and it's like all of a sudden this, like, that's when the truth really gets revealed on who he is because of all that knowledge. And it's like, and then he speaks in Russian. He's like, let her go. And, you know, it's like, holy shit. Who is this? You know what I mean? And it's like so cool. Like, it's such a great moment. And then that, obviously she gets pissed because he lied, you know, the whole 9 yards. But it's like
kind of what she really wants, though. Like,
right. But it's like she
really
has
wants,
to like transition into it. I mean, because like an hour or so later, when she sees the Harrier jet land, she's like, yeah, she starts screaming, like in the helicopter with, like, you know, and she's like sort of hugging him, like, it just, I don't know, it's great.
I think
that's the thing too. I think this movie is ridiculous in so many different ways.
Sure, tell me why.
From the jet, you know, to they blow up one of the Florida Keys for God's sakes with the nuclear bomb, and everyone's just standing there watching like it's a fireworks show. Yep. Oh, look at that! Wow, yeah.
Take out the bridge.
Don't worry about nuclear fallout or radiation or anything like that.
It's fine.
Yeah, don't worry about it. We'll build that.
Give you a better tan. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, and we do have a jump jet hovering through a major city. I'm going to say it does
with a fight on top of it.
Yes, right. Yeah, with a fight on. Yeah, you know what?
And the daughter's on top of it.
You know what we got to end? We have to end the trope of people going out on the edge of cranes and making believe like they'd be able to function like a human being and walk and hold on and not panic. I think that's the biggest bunch of shit ever. Like, I'm not afraid of heights, but if I'm all that's, like if I'm going to go across a crane, I'm not going to be able to function. I'm going to be frozen in fear. Now I get that's a boring movie. Someone frozen in fear. I get that. I'm just saying, can we just put an end to that? Like jumping from building to building, like in what was that?
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise, and I'm thinking of one
Mission
with the Rock.
Impossible.
No, the Towering Inferno one with the Rock. I think it was called.
Oh yeah, San Andreas.
Yeah, and he like jumps from a building. Towering Inferno. It was a
different title, but it's okay.
Whatever. And he jumps from a building to a building.
He's talking about the one where he's got one leg.
He's got one leg. You're not petrified in fear. Like, that's not a thing. But I get it. It's an action. Whatever. It's fun to watch. It's fine. But it's just, stop it. Just stop it. No, this would be me.
Can you imagine? No,
wait. Quick story. I a summer job once, and we got to kind of see where we're going with this. I did a summer job once when I first started teaching. I don't pay a lot of money. So I was painting houses. I never painted a house in my life. And with another teacher, also painted houses during the summer. And we got up on most of it was easy. It was kind of low, and we were just like painting stuff. At one point, he's like, well, we got to get up on a ladder and go to the top of the roof. So we get up on a ladder. I was okay doing that. And then I'm painting. I'm like, we got to get down. And then I realized to get down off the roof on this tall ladder with the asphalt 30 feet down, I had to swing my leg around to get onto the ladder. And I couldn't do it. Like, he just kept like coaxing me like, no, just swing your leg around. I'm going to be fine. I'm like, Gus, I can't do it. And for a moment, I'm on the roof going, I have a cell phone. I mean, I could just call the fire department. Like, I could just call the fire department. And eventually I did it. It was terrifying. And that's only 30 feet. We're at the top of a crane. Like, that's not going to happen. Like, I'm sorry. All right, sorry.
No, I would be gripped and not moving. You'd have to come peel me off of the freaking thing.
Nope.
But here you go. Here's the nuclear bomb code. So I'm all set. I don't need this.
Yeah, I'm take whatever you want.
I'm going to die up here anyway, so here you go. It's fine.
Yeah.
So,
Winter's coming.
What's that?
While you're up on the roof, Winter's just going to come and kill me anyway. Because I'm staying.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. So, that's funny. But anyway, so you know, it's good for Cameron. He's so good at escalating action. He's so good at making problems like on top of problems on top of problems. And then by the end of the movie, they all resolve themselves perfectly. I mean, all the movies do it. Titanic does it. Aliens does it. Just problem after problem after. And it seems like it's getting worse and worse, but they're actually solving problems as they go. Titanic is a good example. Like, I know the boat's sinking, but like it's problem after problem until they get to the boat. I mean, eventually, yes, Leo drowns. But the fact of the matter is it's just coupling problem and problem. He's so good at that. And this is another example. It makes it really entertaining. You're in it. You're in it to win it with the characters. So, hey, guess what?
Look, I want to go back to the crane thing,
Hit it.
Chris, because you bring up a good point of that, but then we're forgetting the horse scene where you think they're actually going to do the horse jump.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was completely bought into it when I first watched the movie. I'm going, oh yeah, of course they're going to jump this horse because it's a ridiculous Cameron movie, and that makes complete sense.
Yep.
But then they don't, and they turn on its side, and Arnold flips off the side, and it's a great scene, you know. But it's almost like poking fun at what you're talking about, you know. So it's almost like they know we've got this ridiculous scene coming up later on in the movie. Let's let everyone know that we fully are aware of that.
Yeah.
Let's just have some fun here.
We'll subvert that for a tad. There is a tad of realism. Just, that much.
And I like it. I like that scene a lot because, he's hanging off the edge of the building and he's going, "Come on, come on." And then as he pulls him, he gets up and he starts lecturing the horse.
Yes.
What kind of cop are you?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Because he speaks Russian and horse. Not a lot of people know that.
Well, yeah. No, but it's just, and the horse neighs at the right time. It's just good
Great
comic
acting.
timing.
It's good horse acting.
No, it's funny though.
Good horse acting.
Yeah.
So Jamie Lee gets the spy bug, and what we see at the end is obviously a fantastic resolution. They have their domestic moment, and you can actually be domestic and have this super international spy thing that you can do. You know what? You just gotta communicate with your spouse, folks. Really, that's the lesson of this whole thing, right?
Communication.
Just communication. Just tell them, look, I'm an international spy. I've killed a bunch of people, and every now and then I have to dance with underwear models. Besides that, that's my job. It's fine.
They were all bad.
They were all bad, the underwear models. Remember Tia Carrere from Wayne's World? Yeah, her. But it's just, they finally get to dance together. They get to have these tender moments, right, that they finally allow themselves to have, which is nice, So hopefully they live happy. Who knows what happens in True Lies 2? I don't know. But
I know.
We'll never know.
I would love to have seen that, though. I think it would have been good.
Yeah, so.
As long as he would be behind it, though.
Yeah.
Right, you have to have
it
him.
would
You
have
don't
to
have
be
him together.
Cameron.
Well,
You can't have a lesser person taking this movie.
James Cameron has said he only wants to make Avatar movies now till he dies.
Really?
Yeah, so imagine if he chose True Lies movies for that. I only want to
How
make
many
So if you
avatars
like-
are there?
5.
Well,
Get the heck
he
out
hasn't-
of here. I've seen one. I didn't
no,
even know there was
5.
5.
he's going to.
Wow.
There's only 2 that are available.
The third one comes out soon.
'Cause
They're fire people. And then 4, and then 5. So I don't know what.
So if you're a big fan of Cameron and not a fan of Avatar, you're screwed.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
But all right.
Why saying that? Because
Time
he's
for
making
TMI?
a ton of money on it.
Yeah. Hello. No, I don't want to do this.
TMI?
Yeah, TMI.
I mean, they get a Disney thing. They get a Disney ride now, too.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Oh, it's good.
All right.
It's some good stuff. I saw one of them.
Right.
All right.
TMI.
Ready?
It's time for TMI with Melanie.
Listen to this. I am in the bathroom right before the movie starts. And I'm in the stall, and there's no toilet paper.
Mine are at home in a display case above my bed.
TMI, my friends.
TMI? Too much information.
Don't go there, but that's lame.
Now, here's Melanie with your timeless movie info.
All right, Melanie, let's have it.
Okay. So the budget was, it wasn't an exact number. It says anywhere between 100 to 120 million. It grossed 378.9 million. And it was in the Guinness Book World of Records for the first movie to budget over $1 million.
100 million.
Oh, yes.
All right.
Thank you. 100
That's
million. Yeah. And then
$1 million.
and they're like, no, that's not really a lot. Okay. Anyway. So, remember the story? We didn't talk about it, but remember the story when Tom Arnold's telling about his ex-wife leaving him, and he was talking about she even took the ice trays from the freezer. What kind of a bitch takes the ice trays from the freezer? Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
So I don't. You probably already know this, but apparently Tom Arnold was going through a divorce at that exact time he was making that movie with Roseanne Barr, and Tom Arnold had told James Cameron this story because that's what Roseanne Barr did.
Awesome.
She took the the ice cube trays as well. She took everything. And
What kind of
so
sick
Cameron thought that
bitch.
was
Yeah.
so funny. Yeah. That's what I say. What kind of a sick bitch takes the ice cube trays out of the freezer? But Cameron thought that was so funny that he left that in there. So I thought that was cute. All right. Arnold took dancing lessons and he rehearsed for 6 months because he wanted to make sure that he was as good at dancing the tango as Al Pacino was in Scent of a Woman in 92. Harry's horse was played by 4 different horses because they all had different skills and personalities.
Okay.
Arnold had I didn't know this, he had a near fatal accident on the set because on the horse riding scene, the horse got startled and he ran out of control. And
stop. All right, sorry.
Yeah, it was near like a 30-foot drop.
I was near the drop. And, stop it.
Yeah, apparently the horse didn't listen.
No, I'm not listening.
So his personal stuntman saw what happened and was able to grab Arnold off the horse before he went over the ledge.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
Or we wouldn't have been able to finish the movie. No, just kidding. Let's see. Tom Arnold did not expect to get the role at all. He just went to the audition mostly for the chance to meet James Cameron. And he did some scenes with Arnold, and Cameron immediately noticed that they had chemistry between each other. And he said, after Tom jokingly said about Arnold, he's not that big. I think I can take him. And that's what kind of sealed the deal. The U.S. government supplied 3 Marine jets and their pilots for a fee of $100,736, and that was $2,410 an hour.
It's not a bad rate, actually, for a jump jet.
Yeah,
it's not bad.
Huge, but because apparently it took forever to do it, the scene. Tom, Jamie, and Arnold absolutely loved filming this movie. At numerous times, they said it was one of the funnest movies that they've ever done, and it was one of their favorite movies that they've ever done. Arnold actually said that this film was meant for him, and in fact, he came to James Cameron with the entire idea for this film. The body count was 90. Director trademark. James Cameron always seems to have some sort of a dangling, swinging, fluorescent light fixture in his films. And this is common in all of his, almost every movie that he's ever written / directed. Charles Heston, we didn't talk about him being in it. He was not originally planned to have an eye patch, but he arrived the first day of filming with pink eye.
Nice.
Oh, Charlton.
So the costume designers popped a patch on his face.
We know all those right-wingers don't like any pinkies. All right, sorry, go ahead.
Not like, I think he's kind of a tool or was a tool, but I could listen to him talk.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Now I can't help but think that somebody farted on Charles Heston's pillow, and that's how he got pink eye. That's all I can think of.
Gross.
Get your butt off me, you damn filthy. I don't know.
It was Al Gore. Al Gore farted on Charlton Heston's pillow just to spite him.
Hey, guys. How great is it was during Knocked Up. He's like, whoa, you get the worst pink eye. No pink eye from me.
Yep.
I'm just hi.
God. Okay, moving on from the fart pillow situation. Okay, it says Arnold and Cameron this is the 3rd film that they worked on together. And Arnold and Bill Paxton starred in 3 films together, and this would be their last, obviously, because of what happened. All right, this is just the only thing. Jamie won a Golden Globe for this movie. Now, I don't know if you guys heard about this, but Eliza Dish, how do you say that? Dushku. Yeah, Dana, the daughter, Dana. She said that when she was 12 years old and making this movie that she was sexually molested by the film's 36-year-old stunt coordinator, Joel Kramer. Oh. She said that he was responsible for her safety on the film. On a daily basis, he rigged me up with wires and harnesses on my 12-year-old body. My life was literally in his hands, and after she was also being molested. And he hung me in open air from a tower crane on top of an office tower 25+ stories high. And she broke a couple of ribs during this filming, and she did not think that was an accident. I don't know. I guess it was this whole scenario. And all the actors that were on this, Jamie and Arnold and Tom, had given their condolences to her after she came out with this. So that's it.
Oh, that's awful.
That's terrible.
All right.
That was too much information.
That's just no, that's all right. No, that's important.
No, it's important.
But just like it throws you for a hell of a loop.
It was just weird. I almost didn't put that in there, but like I was like, well, that's kind of important. Like I didn't even know that happened.
Facts is facts. It is what it is. So
it's time now for final judgment. Are you ready to rubber stamp this bitch? Here's the final judgment.
All right. Right now is the time where we talk about how well the movie holds up today. And it's no longer about opinion, but fact. You ready?
Yep. Who's going?
All right. Let's go with Steve.
I think it holds up still. Like I said, it does look 90s, and there are some things in it that you're like, oh man, that is dated. But overall, it's still a fun action flick. It's funny as all hell, and it looks great. It's got that typical Cameron look to it with a lot of blue hues and stuff. And I think everybody in it too, from Heston to Schwarzenegger, all the actors are fantastic. You know, even from Elijah Dushku to Arnold, like they all play their role very, very well. And I think that all that plays into it, why it's such a good movie. And I think it's funny you said that, Melanie, about how they said this was one of the funnest movies they did. I think that kind of plays into why it works so well. It seems like they're all having a good time with this movie, you know?
Yeah.
And every time I watch it, I'm always impressed by it because, like, for me, that was like the golden age of movies when I was a kid. That year, there was a lot of movies that came out. Forrest Gump, The Mask. It's crazy to look at the top 10 from that year. There's just so many good movies that Hollywood doesn't really make anymore.
Yeah.
When it comes to these kinds of movies, you know? If they're not a comic book movie, then they're not throwing $100 million at a movie, you know? And that's the other thing at the time. I remember hearing that in the news that this was one of the most expensive movies at the time. 100 million back then was ridiculous. They thought, you know, and I still love it. And I think it's Schwarzenegger at his peak. You know, he's done comedy, he's done action. This is a nice little middle road, and it really reached the masses. It's not just a sci-fi movie, and it's just a lot of fun to watch. I really enjoyed the movie.
Cool. I'll go. I do think it holds up. I do think it's just pure good action. It's like I said, it's action, but it's not like action like Commando. It's got some, you know, which is fine in its own right, but you know, it does interplay it with you know, I'm not looking for chuckles and guffaws, but it doesn't have to be super serious the whole time, just gunning people down the entire time. And we do craft a story around it. It's amazing how a movie that's a little too long, 2 hours and 21 minutes is long for 1994. But it doesn't, at the time, I don't remember it feeling like 2 hours and 21 minutes, where you watch other movies that like, for instance, I'll give you a quick one. I watched The Bubble on Netflix the other day. It's
oh my God.
Terrible because it's got no plot. It's just a bunch of gags, one after another, and it seemed like the movie would not end. So it's amazing how you can have a lot of things in the middle that are funny, but the movie just lasts forever. Whereas True Lies and Titanic and Aliens are all long, but it doesn't feel like it because the story's there and the characters are there and the writing's there. So I would say, yeah. And it does have obviously some questionable topics, has some questionable moments, has some things culturally that wouldn't probably hold up today. I wouldn't say you wouldn't recommend it. It's just, you know, that's a microcosm of what was happening in 1994. That's it. I mean, it happened. We don't need to say it's still okay, but, you know, it happened. And it still doesn't make it out of control. By the way, it doesn't hold up. History of the World Part 1. Watch that again. Because I'm doing History of the World Part 2. Comes out tomorrow on Hulu.
I was going to watch it again.
Oh, watch it again.
Yeah.
It is so not okay. It's amazingly not okay.
What year did that come out?
81.
81.
Oh boy. Steve, watch it. Oh, you'll be frightened. It's like, oh boy. Anyway, I'm sorry. So I would say yes, it holds up. Melanie, go ahead.
Yeah, so I agree with you in some of the things that they said, especially the 10-year-old boy. And I guess a lot of the, I don't know, I guess I would say a lot of the things were that people thought it was racist. But again, like I said, if you go back to Rocky, I mean, there's always going to be an enemy, and it's always somebody that the government's having an issue with at that time, I think, throughout the years, you know. So maybe parts of that stuff maybe wouldn't hold up. But yeah, I mean, it had a ton of action in it. You never got bored watching it. It was really funny. Tom Arnold was so funny in this. And of course, Bill Paxton, again, I always bring him up because I think this is like my favorite character that he ever played was in this movie. If you came out today and people went to go see it, I don't see how they wouldn't leave just laughing and being happy that they actually paid money to go see it. So I'm going to say, yeah, holds up.
Jason?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's clean as far as like the way it looks. It looks beautiful to this day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does look good.
You know what I mean? Like as far as the cleanliness of the picture, and you know what I mean. You wouldn't sit there and go, oh well, look at Iron Man's 10 times better looking. No, this looks pretty damn good. So in that sense, it looks fresh. The comedy's phenomenal. The action is great. I think anybody, I don't think it ever gets boring, really. So yeah, you could say it's too long, but it doesn't feel it. So you got that. Like the writing's always good. Cameron's a phenomenal writer, phenomenal director. I think it would be hard to argue that. And I got to say, like, stuff like, even the smaller things, like Tom Arnold was, I think, phenomenal in this movie.
Yeah.
Like,
he was so good.
Kind of an unsung hero, like, at times, like, like you probably underappreciated. Like he walks into the kitchen, sees Eliza Dushku dancing to, like, headphones and wearing a helmet, and he goes, I remember the first time I was shot out of a cannon.
Yeah.
And just, like, little goofy shit like that. Like he's. I also love when they are finally done with Bill Paxton's character, and he pulls out a gun. And he goes, "Beat it, dipshit!" And he just like shoots at the ground next to him.
Yeah,
like, it was so fucking cool. It was great.
I like when Tom Arnold's behind the street post and the gun he's getting shot at, and he's hiding behind it. And then when he comes out from it, he checks his whole body for holes, including his his region. And he's like, thank God.
Yeah,
just him doing that, the way he does it is so funny.
I like when he plants that little device in the kitchen. They're watching the daughter take money out of the pocket, and then he goes, "She could just be taking money for an abortion or something." I don't know how she said it, but it was just so funny. Like, he's just so excited about anything that goes wrong in Arnold's life.
That's the magic of like that. You got to give James Cameron credit, because usually Tom Arnold kind of makes your skin crawl. And you really do dig him. You do dig him in the movie. Like, you just can't help it. He's kind of lovable. Even though most of the other times I've ever seen him, I just wish he would just go away as soon as possible. But you actually want him.
You guys, I don't remember anything he was ever in except for Roseanne. What else was he in?
He had sitcoms.
Yeah, there is.
he had a sitcom.
Yeah. You remember that movie?
I don't remember him in anything else.
He's in a movie called The Stupids. Yeah, it's something. Yep. Anyhow,
awful.
Well, if he's hired by the right people, he's good.
Mm-hmm. If he has a good
given the right stuff. So I think maybe it's just nobody would hire him because like how we got associated. I don't know. Either way, he was a blast. So I would say that wraps up True Lies, which none of us I saw a couple of weeks ago, but none of us actually get to see it because it was not rentable. Very odd. I was not expecting that. Sorry, but like,
sure,
why would I assume?
Best Buy right now.
What's that?
I'm sure it's $5 at Best Buy right now.
Right, in a bin. Yeah.
I actually want to go buy it now because of doing this. So
right,
you can put it in your collection, even though it's not Ghostbusters.
Giving Tom Arnold another nickel.
Right. So, that was our show, everybody, and once again, like to thank Steve Scarpetti for being here, joining us today. Tell us again, once let people know how to listen to you.
Absolutely, thanks, guys. I really appreciate this. I love talking about movies, and my wife has had enough of me talking about the same movies over and over for the last 10 years. So she really appreciates this. So thank you.
Keeping marriages together. That's what we do
if
here.
You want to check out my show with Film Crickets?
We're keeping marriages together. That's what we do here at the Film Crickets.
Exactly. Yes. But check me out weekdays, Monday through Friday, 3 to 7. I'm on 94 HJY, 94.1 on your local radio. But you can also listen to us on iHeartRadio. Get the iHeartRadio app, and it's right there. And you can listen to us in Amsterdam, in Europe, and all of America. It's crazy.
That's awesome. That's dude. It's not crazy. It's cuckoo.
It's cuckoo.
What is that? How is that happening?
I swear I'm not. This nigga was looking at my hand. I'm not doing that. I swear.
He's got a cuckoo clock.
All right.
It's awesome. It happened last time during our show.
I think that we should see this cuckoo clock here.
Oh,
where is it?
You want me? Hold on, let's
The Legend Cuckoo Clock.
go. There we go.
Oh, it's just like that.
Oh my God, my grandmother had one that
German
looked just
one.
like that.
This is
Yeah,
my
my
grandmother's.
grandparents did.
Yes. It sat in a box for 15 years. I couldn't find anyone to fix it. And I finally did. And it's another thing that my wife has to put up with. She's
Along with
loving
the
the
case of
sound.
action figures, apparently. Oh my God.
oh, yeah.
My
There's a whole
wife
mess down here.
my wife got my mom a clock that had bird noises in it, right? Like a long time ago for Christmas, right? Like each time it went to a different one, it would set off like a different bird noise. And she just, it was just something to buy her for Christmas. And then I was upstairs and I heard them like test it out. And then I hear my wife go, "Oh my God, that's awful."
Wow.
Like, not because she had never actually heard what she bought my mother. Like, so as they go to play, she, "Oh, I'm so sorry."
Terrible.
Yeah,
Did
it's
she
pretty
ever
great.
say that?
Huh? I don't know. Probably not. But we wouldn't blame her anyway. Like I said, it was listening to my wife go, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry."
That's funny.
It was great. So, well, listen, folks, we'd like to thank Steve Lavoie for our vocal imaging and Draco and the Malfoys for our theme music. One day we will get them on. I have a movie that they had once said that they were going to do, but it's always hard to, time in, get the timing right. But we will have Draco and the Malfoys on one day. And so check them out.
Can I make a recommendation for a future? I'd like you guys to watch Rented on Vudu. Batteries Not Included.
I know it. I know it.
I love that movie, and I haven't watched it in 15 years. And I watched it last week, and I loved it just as much as I did as a kid.
Really?
Spielberg, right?
I remember liking it when I was little.
He was behind it.
Spielberg, I think, is a producer for it.
Yeah.
And I want to say
They
like Joe
used his
Johnson
name.
has something to do with it, but I could be wrong.
I remember them using his name, but it wasn't like as
Spielberg presents
prominent.
Yes.
Yeah. Animaniacs.
I do have to ask you if you've seen the new Ghostbusters with the kids.
Yes, I
What do you
have.
think?
I enjoyed it. It wasn't what I wanted as a fan of the franchise, but I'll take it. Like I consider it to be something that's going to put the franchise back on the right path. So I'll take it. And in the theater, I was like a 12-year-old and emotional and ridiculously.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. Did you see the very end of it?
Don't tell anybody.
Yeah,
Just
but
like
did you
people
see
like
it
myself?
after the credits?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I'm looking forward to all that, and I'm hoping they go in the right direction. But it's not what I wanted. I could dissect that movie and tell you a lot of wrong things with it.
Yeah.
Even though I like it, it's probably one of those. I think we all have a couple of those movies where we love them, right? But we're like, there's so many things wrong with this movie.
That's what Jaws. Yeah,
and that's one of my movies. Like I love the movie, but there's so many things wrong with it. Like really, we gotta do Gozer again. Like that's what I've been waiting 20
I know. I didn't like that
years
movie.
for. Like, come on. Give me something new.
It's got problems, but it's still better than Ghostbusters 2.
I agree. I really liked it. I liked the kids in it.
Hey,
long.
guys.
Sorry, don't like it.
That's another movie though. No, Chris is right.
Those are things that you're right. I wish they didn't do the Gozer thing, but I liked it a lot.
Steve has
Chris,
a
you're right.
poster.
2 is an awful movie too. 2 is beat by beat the same movie. It opens up with the setup scene. It's got it's got Statue of Liberty and Stay Puft. Like it's a complete copy of the first movie. But it was the movie that I saw in the theater. One of my best summers of all time, '89. It was Indiana Jones. Ghostbusters 2 came out the week later, and then Batman came out that third week. So 10-year-old me
fantastic.
Was having a great summer in the movie. So.
All right.
Okay.
All right, we gotta go.
Popcorn or
Chris,
planet?
before you leave, I want to do Aliens. I really want to do Aliens.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
So sorry, I was. Well, please help us grow by liking this video and subscribing to our channel. Please be sure to sure as hell. I don't know how the word hell came out.
That's right.
Hit the bell icon to get notified whenever we release a new episode.
You'll be all right.
Cracking up over there.
Fuck. All right. Well, as you can tell, we have fun. So, on the behalf of Chris Martineau and Melanie Howerton, I am Jay Fortier, and I'd like to thank you again for joining us here on the Film Crickets. And until next time, movies may not age like fine wine, but we drink it anyway. Bye.
Chirping about movies.